Are you thinking about selling your home but you're not quite sure where to get started? If so, this video is for you. My name is Sabrina Hammond. I'm a realtor here in Fresno, California, and I'm putting together a series of events and videos designed to help you sell your home for maximum profit. I'm beginning this series with home maintenance because a well-maintained home typically sells faster and for a higher profit. Today we'll be meeting with my preferred home inspector, Matt Held. He has just completed an inspection on a home and he's ready to take you and I on the client walkthrough. During this walkthrough, he'll be pointing out some of the typical things that come up during an inspection, and we'll discuss how you as a homeowner can take care of these before you list your house.
Hi, my name is Matt Held with First Choice Home Inspections. I've been doing home inspections in Fresno and Clovis for a little over 10 years now. And in that time, I've done over 6,000 home inspections. As a seller, you'd want to have a home inspection done before you list your house, just so that you can identify any areas of concern that a potential home buyer may have during the sales transaction process. Areas of potential concerns would include the structure, the exterior, plumbing, heating and cooling, and electrical. As I talked about exterior, areas of concern would be wood damage along the perimeter of the home. As you can see here, there is some dry rot on the perimeter wood. It's called fascia. You can see where over time wood gets damaged and it will start to deteriorate.
One of the reasons that I like to suggest a home inspection before we list is to catch things like this that the homeowner can take care of beforehand instead of waiting for it to come up on a repair request when we're in escrow.
Another area of concern would be the electrical panel. What I always look for is to make sure that wires are all sized to the breakers they're attached to. I make sure that there are no wires that are potentially melted or overheated, and I make sure that all wires are sized to the breakers that they're attached to.
This is what I noticed. Look how nicely it's all labeled. How often do we even see that?
Very rare.
Very rarely. This is exceptional.
Labeling is important so that you can easily identify breakers, so that if you need to turn off the electricity to a specific fixture, you don't have to try to guess what breaker they're going to.
Thank goodness for cell phones. Remember when you just had to yell? Now we can have a person on the cell phone at the other end of the house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
very nicely done.
With the water heater, I'm looking at the health and safety components. I'm checking to make sure that it has 2 earthquake straps, one at the top, one at the bottom, that they're properly strapped with the leg bolts. I'm checking to make sure that it has a gas shutoff. I'm making sure that it has a water shutoff. And also that it has a temperature and pressure relief valve, so that if any excess pressure is built up inside the tank, then it's able to go through that relief valve and out to the exterior of the home. Common concerns in the kitchen would include leaky handles and faucets from kitchen sinks. Another common concern would be a lack of a dishwasher air gap. The air gap is the little device that sticks up out of the sink top. It connects your drain line from your dishwasher before it goes into the disposal. The reason you want that air gap is to prevent any cross-contamination should water back up out of that from the disposal and go back into the dishwasher. What I commonly look for underneath of the sink area is to make sure that there isn't any moisture damage from any active leak or past leaks. What will happen if over prolonged time, if you get a leak, it will damage the shelf bottom, damage the back wall, and you can have potential health and safety concerns as it relates to that moisture damage.
So we're here in the bathroom where we see, almost every report has the loose toilet. Can you go over that with me?
Sure. So what I commonly look for is to make sure that the toilet is secure. I want to make, a lot of times the flange bolts on the side of the toilet will become loose. The toilet will then start to rock from side to side. If that happens, there's always potential then that the toilet can start to leak onto the floor area below, and that is a potential safety concern.
Right, and here we have the concrete floor, but on a raised foundation where it's leaking down to the wood, that's a main concern, because then you have wood rot all the way around the toilet.
Absolutely. Then, as you just mentioned, that moisture starts to seep through, it starts to deteriorate the wood, and then again, you start to have some safety concerns.
Yeah. So some of my clients that are pretty handy, they can handle this themselves. And what it will entail is to remove the toilet, install a new wax ring, and then reset the toilet. You can also hire this out. It's about $75.
As it relates to the shower stall, another area of concern is the shower pan. Part of the test is to fill up the shower stall with water to make sure that the enclosure itself is watertight and that it doesn't leak. And if it does leak, then you can address it before you list the house. And then in addition to all plumbing fixtures, I always test to make sure that hot water is on the left, that cold water is on the right. It's a common occurrence when plumbing fixtures get redone that the plumber who installs it will put it backwards. And so for safety concerns, you always want hot water left, cold water right.
So here's another thing we see regularly, the foggy windows.
Yes, what we have here is pretty common. It's called a broken window seal. And what happens with a broken window seal is that the gas inside of the dual pane window will leak out. And it commonly occurs in older windows. Once that gas leaks out, heat from the outside will transfer to the inside, causing condensation, discoloration inside the window pane, so that discoloration cannot be cleaned off. The only way that you can actually fix that is to replace the glass or the windows itself. You don't have to replace the entire window. It's just this section, this piece here that you can take out, order new glass, and put it in. So
That's right. That's one of the ways to maximize your profit, is only really replace what is needed to replace.
that is correct.
A lot of times people think, oh my gosh, I've got these foggy windows, the gas has broken, the gas seal is broken, and I need to replace all the windows. But it's really not that expensive to just fix the broken ones.
It's not. You can see from the upper pane that the windows are good here. And what they'll do is that they'll take this out, they'll take the frame apart, order new glass, and they'll put the actual existing frame back in, and then you have a new window. So
Yeah, I just recently had this done on
yeah.
my house too.
That's a very simple
It's a
fix.
good solution.
Absolutely.
So what about this? There's stains on this window seal.
We do. We have the stains here, and that could be caused by a multitude of things. But one thing with window maintenance is that you'll want to make sure that you keep all your windows sealed from the outside in. That way it minimizes moisture. Anytime you're getting moisture inside the house, there's always potential for that moisture to get inside the framing, to go down inside the walls, and then you have damage to the structure. So keeping windows sealed from the outside in is a good way to protect that.
Yeah, it looks like somebody that had this bedroom last might have liked to sleep with the windows open on a rainy night, huh?
It's very possible. Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
It could be anything, yes.
So my big pet peeve about this is the air filters. Whenever I get a new listing, I check the air filters, because I know when I'm walking through a house with a buyer and everything is sparkling clean, maybe it's a flip and everything looks brand new, I come by and I peek at the air filter, and that tells me a whole lot. So when I have a listing, I make sure there's a clean air filter.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't understand is that a dirty air filter reduces airflow, and airflow makes your system work much harder than it needs to. And so what I do as a home inspector, I'm testing AC and heating units for functionality and efficiency. I have this little infrared thermometer, and what it's doing is it's taking air temperature. So I take the air temperature coming out of all of the supply vents, I'm taking the air temperature that's going back through the return. And if the AC unit is, or it should be, cooling the air temperature at least 15 degrees, and if it's not, that means it's not operating efficiently and that it should be serviced. And a lot of times, as you just mentioned, it's because the air filter is dirty and the system hasn't been cleaned or serviced in a while. One of the easiest maintenance practices that you can do that I see commonly is sealing all your plumbing vent stacks. You want them sealed because over time it will deteriorate, and if that sealant cracks and peels, you can get moisture that can run down the pipe and into the attic area of the home. So just a simple tube of tar or caulking, you'd seal that, and that'll protect and keep your roof watertight. Another thing that I commonly see are
rain gutters filled with leaves and debris. One of the simplest things that you can do before you list your house is to get up on a ladder or have somebody get up and clean all of the leaves and debris out of the rain gutters. Another area, again, is that you can see here where the roof meets the wood components of the home. You can see that this tar is cracking. And again, that's just another area of moisture penetration concerns. So you want to make sure you seal all that up. You can also see the exposed wood here. Anytime you have exposed wood can lead to wood damage. So having that prepped and painted before you do your home listing, again, will minimize concerns that the next home inspector would find.
So this is one of those areas, again, that's an easy DIY and not very expensive if you hire it out either, but pretty easy for a homeowner to come along and do this painting. Maybe some scraping first when it's this bad, but scrape and paint and recaulk. And you know, those nails are pulling out a little, put the nails in. And this reseal around all the vents. But pretty easy DIY, also pretty inexpensive repair if you hire it out. If you enjoyed that segment with Matt, I'd like to invite you back for the next 3 segments on how to sell your home for maximum profit. We'll be covering cleaning, staging, and professional photography. If you have any questions on any of these topics or anything else related to real estate, please call me directly. I'd be happy to help. I'm Sabrina Hammond, and I'm here to provide you with integrity, tenacity, and results.